Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We're going to take another quick look at KDA, and just before we do, I typically like to look at Bitcoin, but it's just kind of stuck right around 62,000, so not much to really note there, but it did test 60,000 again yesterday, bounced right off. So I think we're still pretty good shape there with Bitcoin. Also, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor by any means, but I have been trading for over 15 years, and I just love teaching other people how to become better traders. I have a trading community specifically designed for this purpose, where you have good direct contact with myself, as well as the fact that we also share signals. In other words, I send out signals for every single trade that I take, and it's a really awesome experience. You can just one-click follow if you'd like through an automated trading bot. Kind of cool. Check it out. Now with KDA, it's done some things here recently, okay? Now KDA is actually making me out to be a liar because typically when you see this much bullish momentum, there's supposed to be some type of correction. It hasn't corrected yet. In fact, it just keeps on, taking short, brief periods of consolidation and increasing. So it is making healthy increases, but I still honestly think it might come back down here soon. But we'll take a look at, just the charts here, see what's going on, and hopefully find a potential solution, exit point, entry point, whatever the case. All right, so looking at the one-day chart, all the traditional indicators are kind of null and void, right? We're well over 70 on the RSI. That's pretty standard for a coin that's doing this kind of movement. Just note that 70 has become a new support level for the RSI, so if the price were to come down and try to correct, the 70 will effectively likely be considered support, and it may bounce upwards. That's pretty standard for bullish momentum. Now, of course, this coming up as high as it has so far, keep this in mind. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in our 5th day of trading, and it's up 187%. That's quite a lot of movement, and you need to understand and be realistic in the sense that it'll probably come crashing back down in the fairly near future, or at least traditionally that's how coins do retrace. Now, this does have some really good fundamentals. Do your own research, of course, but for lack of better terms, that's what we should expect. I think it'd be, it would be fairly over optimistic to consider otherwise. That's all I can say. All right, so looking at the 4-hour chart, let's see what's going on here. So here's that nice little consolidation period, right? We had a retracement somewhere in the range of about 13%, a little correction, and then it comes back up here in the last 4 hours. So all good things here for KDA, because that was enough apparently to consolidate. We can also see this little breakout pattern here too, where you got the the traditional ascending wedge pattern, where the price were to kind of come up and break to the upside, and it definitely did that. So it's pretty much been ramping up very steady for the last 24 hours, minus that little correction here recently, which was actually very healthy. So we like to see that. That's the main reason why we're seeing this leg up, is because it had a chance to breathe, and the bears took some of their profits. The bulls are just taking full control here. Yeah, and we can also see a tremendous amount of increase in volume here in the last 16 hours as well. So that's definitely something to understand. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at the 1-hour chart, kind of see what we're looking at for TD sequential. And actually, I glossed over the 4-hour. Let's look at this one first, because this is important to note. Because a 4-hour candlestick it's a good time frame to understand exhaustion, because the 1-hour chart is, as much as I love it, it can be kind of short and brief, and it'll reset more frequently than the 4-hour. So with the 4-hour chart here, if we're looking at this, we can see we're at an 8 on TD sequential, basically just implying the fact that we may have one more candlestick's worth of bullish momentum before it either A, retraces, or B, consolidates, right? So you look at this, that basically just means that this little period here, albeit positive to allow for this next leg up, it wasn't enough time for it to actually have its breathing room, and for it to not calm down, if you will. So for lack of better terms here, what I'm getting at is the fact that we have maybe about 4 more hours of bullish momentum before we might see some type of correction or retracement. Now, based on its history and the way it's been trending, it doesn't like to retrace very much. It just kind of keeps going sideways. So that being said, I think it's pretty safe to presume that if it were to come up here to another 9, just say it comes up somewhere in the range of $20, then we're going to be looking at a potential for the price to probably go sideways for some time, maybe do something similar to this, where it just has an eventual breakout to the upside, and then we see some type of increase, ascending wedge pattern again. That could very well happen, because I don't know the specifics. I keep hearing this in my community chat, but I think that there is going to be more exchanges adopting KDA soon, and when those large exchanges do take that new coin into place, there's oftentimes a very large increase, which is why you see like the ICO date usually has like a really big long candle wick, because it was introduced to another exchange, and that causes that knee-jerk reaction where everybody wants to get in on it because it's their first opportunity to get in on it, right? So that being said, that's kind of what we're looking at here for KDA. And now what we can look at next really quick here, so it was just a 1 hour chart here, and just keep this in mind, this is also TD sequential, but this is again that healthy little retracement, right? We see this little correction, which is nice, and then just bounce right back. So this consolidation period is healthy, it's very good. I don't think it was enough to warrant a significant further increase, but that's what's causing this little ramp up here right now. Okay. Furthermore, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the cloud. Big surprise, price is well above the cloud. We pretty much see this all the time, but what's cool, right before it broke out to the upside with this ascending wedge pattern, it almost effectively bounced off the cloud, which is a pretty common characteristic in a bullish trend that we're seeing here right now. So this has all the bullish qualities. There's really nothing that I can see that's bearish, obviously. The only thing that you need to understand is that we're a bit on the overextended side, as we have been pretty much this whole time, and that it's going to have to eventually reach its maximum potential and kind of calm down for a little bit. Now, I would pay attention to the dates in which this coin is going to be provided to these other exchanges, because once that does happen, we can expect probably another increase. That could be what's happening here as well, kind of that preparation for that. But with all the technicals here, there's really nothing bearish about this, except the fact that it is, again, overextended, and we can expect some type of correction, I would say in the next 4 to 16 hours, right? So sometime today, Sunday, of course, here in Pacific Standard Time, here in the US, we're probably going to see some type of correction. I hope it's not significant, but it has to happen eventually, right? Because this was not enough. As much as we like to admit or consider, that is not enough. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a quick look at TD, or basically the Fibonacci retracement, kind of see what kind of potential we have here. So let's go with the most recent lowest point and kind of work our way up here. Okay. And by the way, I'm going this far back because that gives us about a full week's worth of data. And the reason why I'm doing that is because then we can kind of anticipate what could happen in the next week, right? So, I mean, again, this is an extreme best case scenario, but $38 is a potential for the next week based on its current momentum and the fact that it has a chance to be able to be introduced into some other exchanges, right? So there's a chance of that. So me personally, I've been waiting to buy the dip, which hasn't happened yet. So that can be the problem with being kind of patient and not wanting to miss out. But I can tell you that it's inevitable, right? If we're going to get it to come up to $38, it has to calm down a little bit longer than it has been, right? We need to see some type of countdown, so to speak, on TD sequential, where it actually starts counting down to a 9 instead of these short, brief periods of consolidation. Because I don't want to see any of you get wrecked. That's the reason why I'm always cautious, and I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also being very realistic here in the sense that I don't think we should expect it to continue to go to the moon without some kind of sideways action, right? I know I keep saying that, sorry, but just want to try to drive that home so you understand that KDA is an amazing coin right now, but I'm not surprised by No, I am surprised. That's just the bottom line here. But regardless, let's move past that surprise and just clarify here. So again, $38 would be a best case scenario in the next week. That would have to be followed by a period of consolidation. If the price were to retrace back down, let's just go ahead and mark some support levels. We can see that's 0.786, basically 16. Well, we could round up and say $17. $17 appeared to be a nice little bounce off point there, right on the 4-hour chart. We can also say as well, let's go ahead and mark this guy here too, that 1286 would be a secondary support there. Now at this rate, I don't foresee that honestly even happening, right? I think that we're just probably going to keep seeing some upward momentum here. So why don't we just go ahead and keep marking a few things here, so the next time we take a look at the charts, we can know if it's going to be hitting those points, right? But according to TD sequential here, the next milestone would be roughly $24 or $23.91. Cool. So that's basically all we're looking at here. I'm just going to keep marking all these lines here because it has a tendency to just keep on pushing up. So I think there's a good chance we might see each one of these here tested. So I'm just going to leave this on the chart here for next time, and I'll keep a closer eye on Kadena here moving forward. But I guess the takeaway here is that, best case, we could see somewhere in the range of upper 30s. I personally don't think we're going to see that this week, just based on the sheer fact that this has to kind of go sideways eventually. But let's pay attention to those dates in which KDA is going to be offered to these other exchanges. If you know that, comment below, of course, so we can all learn and grow together. But for lack of better terms, I think Kadena is in very good shape, but I'm expecting a sideways consolidation soon, just so we can get enough time in to before that next leg up, right? So just a heads up on that. But I hope you found benefit here, of course, and this didn't provide more questions than answers. I do apologize for that if that's the case. Feel free to reach me on social media at CryptoCache Tech, both through Telegram and Twitter, of course, but simply put, I have a Patreon account as well. If you want to become a better trader, you can follow all the trades that I take, and we can all, again, learn and grow together. That's the point of this, is to ensure that we're all profitable in both bull markets and bear markets. By the way, quick tip, bear markets are much more profitable than bull markets, believe it or not. So I'm looking very much forward to that when it happens, and I can assure you, you'll be in very good shape if you're part of the community. Thank you so much for your time. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.